Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Hairy Muppet, and we are getting back into DreamHack Valencia. It is the round of 16 between Jaedong and VortiX, man. And hold on a second, we are having a little bit of problems here. What was going on here? All right, so just gonna unpause it. This problem that usually I can switch as everybody and just control it, but yeah, I mean, I'm just selecting as different people now. I pretty much have to because everyone has got some weird display bug going on. So, yeah, not good. Let's hope that he doesn't do any weird sort of zooming. And yeah, that's alright. Let's just move on. And yes, moving on down the bottom right side of the map, it is going to be our red Zerg player, Jaedong. He is from South Korea. He plays for the Evil Geniuses clan. And what has he been doing so far in this tournament? He has been owning all over the place. That's what he's been doing. In the round of 64, he defeated Neo Angel, Monchi, and Danar. He actually dropped a game to Danar, but yeah. And in the round of 32, he defeated Marine Lord, the STC, and Targa, dropping a game each to Targa and the STC. So a very, very strong showing from Jaedong, but we would not expect any less from him. And yes, down in the top, up in the top left side of the map, sorry, it is going to be our blue Zerg player, VortiX. Our VortiX is from Spain. He plays for the Mouse Sports team, same as his brother Lucifron. Actually, it's yeah, those guys are brothers, so that's pretty awesome. And yes, it's actually quite interesting because I'll explain that in a sec. But yeah, VortiX. In the round of 64, he defeated Trehor, Razorblader, and Targa, though he did drop a game to Targa. And in the round of 32, he defeated Neo Angel and Dystar, but he was defeated by Hyun. So, yes, Hyun, a very powerful player. So, yeah, I mean, it's not too bad. But as I was about to say, man, VortiX and Jaedong, both, I would say both, you know, would be really, really awesome if they got through, because if VortiX wins, then we've got the potential for him and Lucifron to meet up in the grand final and be like brother versus brother, man. And I don't know, that would be the most awesome that I can think of, just right at the end, just going at it. But on the other hand, man, Jaedong really, really, really wants to get through here. I mean, he really, I know it's not just because there's a tournament, it's not just because there's prize money and WCS points and all that other fun stuff. The main reason that Jaedong wants to get through this round is so that he can get his hands on Stardust, man. You all saw it back in the DreamHack Open Summer. Those two in the grand final went absolutely nuts over 7 games. And, I mean, Stardust came out on top. And you know that Jaedong wants a rematch in a major tournament, man. So those guys, they're set up so that if Stardust wins against Elfie in the quarterfinal, and if Jaedong wins this round, and then wins against Jip in the quarterfinal, then those two will meet in the semi-final. It's going to be completely crazy all over again. And you know that Jaedong wants to settle the score once and for all, which one of them is better, because he was so good, man, in the DreamHack Open, and Stardust just like, you know what, I'm taking you out, dude. And Jaedong didn't want to go, but there it did. There it went, and he went down, and I'm sure he's still not happy about that, but alright, maybe I'm doing it up a little bit, but come on, man, Stardust, Jaedong, man, I still remember those games, man, so awesome. But here we go, Jaedong getting a Baneling Nest coming out, getting a bunch of Lings coming out. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. It's a bit more awesome than this interface, but luckily Mr. Yor hasn't been messing with any of the zoom settings, so that's fine. Although I think it does actually change based on what he's selecting, or maybe on what I'm selecting. I do not know, but we don't really care what's down the bottom right side anyway. What we do care about is this Ling offensive coming in here. They're going to be hitting a whole bunch of drones. You can see he's got the Micro in there, not automatically attacking the Queens. He's got a bunch more Banelings Lings over there. trying to take care of the banelings with some awesome micro. Individual lings moving off, trying to attack the banelings. He got one baneling down like that, but the rest of the banelings staying alive, and meanwhile VortiX has managed to get up an even number of lings to chase him away. So a very nice attack from Jaedong there, but not quite going to get it done, and meanwhile gets chased back by an even number of forces. So once he gets back to his base, he will have the defensive advantage. I don't think these lings are going to be too much of a threat. They're not moving in there. He's got to morph in some banelings of his own. He's going to send the queen out there, hoping to chase these guys away as soon as possible. Now, what do we got going on here? We do have a bit of a battle. Keeping on, keeping on. And VortiX has got a couple of banelings coming down, but of course, Jaedong has his own banelings, and he's probably going to try and snipe the other banelings with his queen. And yeah, just a bit of all over the place. But look at this, man. VortiX getting a Roach Warren, and Jaedong getting a Spire, man. Just crazy Zerg play all over the place. Look at the banelings coming in, man. These guys just like, fuck that, man. We're out of here. And these guys coming back in, and the banelings just almost had it. But, oh, man, Roach Warren. If VortiX builds a massive amount of roaches, like 10, 12 roaches, man, then it is game over, because I don't know, man. He needs to be ready to deal with these fast, very fast Mutalisks that I'm sure are going to come out of there just as soon as Jaedong gets this thing up. I mean, look at this. He's saving up a ton of gas right here. He's already got 600. I'm sure he could be using that for something else, but he's using it for mutas, I assume, when they come out. Both players getting a hatchery down at pretty much the same time. Jaedong getting it out a little bit sooner. And is it Jaedong or is it Jaedong? Because I like Jaedong because it makes me sound a little bit more cultured, but Jaedong may be the way you say it. However, I don't know, no, man. I can't help being cultured, so I'll probably just keep saying Jaedong. And there we go. This poor baneling, man. I do not think he's going to be able to survive. He thought about sending another ling in. There we go. However, that baneling has bought enough time for the reinforcing lings to come in. And baneling's going to be taking out a whole bunch of lings over there. Meanwhile, another attack full of lings coming out. And VortiX is finding himself a little bit low on banelings, but he is building a couple of roaches. He hasn't been building a ton, though. Mainly just concentrating on lings, but you can see it right there. 10 mutas coming out. And, oh man, 10 Mutalisks can snipe a queen without too many issues. I mean, I did think we had some spores over here, left, right, and center. But our mutas can even, I don't know, man. They can snipe that out, but they'll probably lose a couple of mutas. So it's interesting, man. I think VortiX is going to be put on the back foot for quite a long time, though. I think he must know about this Spire, man. He's definitely setting up spores left, right, and center. And the lings are going to try and use their speed. It's actually funny. I've been talking about a unit using its speed against Mutalisks, but that is what he's going to be trying to do. And some defensive guys here, trying to take out this Spore Crawler here before it finishes off. And there we go, actually finished off, but they killed it anyway. And a whole bunch of mutas coming down. Jaedong getting his own Roach Warren. These lings finally getting taken out by some excellent defensive play by Jaedong. And so far, he is looking extremely strong, man. VortiX got a Roach Warren out. Never really did a crap load with it. I guess he's trying to be a little bit more defensive, which I will say it puts him in a much greater stead in terms of dealing with these mutas, man, because now he does have a crap load of Spore Crawlers, a crap load of Queens, and he's actually getting Infestors out as well. So really, really great job here. I thought maybe the mutas were going to take him out, but I'm not so sure anymore. However, a bunch of lings streaming in is going to complicate the issue just a little bit. And yeah, if he takes out these, takes out the Queens, man, then the mutas can come in and do all sorts of damage. The Roaches trying to reinforce, but the Roaches are going to get whittled down quite a lot. But here we go, the Infestors coming out. And Jaedong suddenly has to be very, very scared about getting the fungal growth on his muta pack, because he does not want that to happen. And here we go, he has not got the energy upgrade for the Infestors yet, but I'm sure they can still regen enough energy. I think it takes 75, but I may be wrong. So yes, in a matter of 10-15 seconds, there is going to be fungals potentially going down on these guys, and that would be all sorts of bad. Here we go, the Infestor coming around. I don't think he's got quite enough. There we go, a fungal going down. Just missed. I think he got right in the middle of the pack, and these guys are spread out extremely nicely from Jaedong, so great job there. And Jaedong, he's not looking so, he's still good, but I think he's countered here. I think the Infestors have got him counted, And I mean, he'd love to start sniping the infestors, but here we go. One drone going out, and 3 of the mutas get taken out by a fungal, man. They managed to survive. That fungal didn't last very long at all, man. Usually it lasts quite a bit longer, but not very long at all. The queen getting taken out, and these muta numbers are going down though, but Jaedong is no longer building a massive amount of mutas. He is now switching into swarm host tech, and swarm hosts are going to be extremely good because... Oh, look at that beautiful fungal, man. That's one of the best fungals I've ever seen. He's going to keep that on, and the mutas are all going to die. Maybe a couple will survive, but whatever, man. These 2 mutas, man, they are just... Oh, man, they got the shaky heebie-jeebies going on, man. They do not want any part of this war anymore. And look at this poor guy, man. Is 30 out of 120 health. Absolutely abysmal, but we do have the swarm host coming out. And swarm hosts are good, but unfortunately if you actually want to kill your opponent, it's a little bit hard to do unless you really know what you're doing. So we're going to see if Jaedong really knows what he's doing. I assume he does. Basically, one of the most popular swarm host attacks I've seen is you pop them down here, you send out a wave of locusts, immediately you lift up the swarm host, move them over somewhere else, pop them down, put down another set of locusts, pick them up, move them around. So constantly dropping them down, spawning the locusts, and then moving somewhere else. And here we go. That's exactly what he's going to be doing. Just using those guys as sort of a wave in front of him to buy him the ability to move forward. And there we go. Bunch of roaches for himself. But, I mean, in infestors, man, fungal is still pretty good versus these guys. And he's going to do quite a push here. But he's got to get trapped between roaches and locusts. Fungal on the roaches, but that's not going to hurt him too much. And if we have a look at the units right here, we do have 37 roaches versus the 17 roaches of VortiX. So Jaedong just going absolutely nuts here. And look at the perfect timing of these locusts coming out just as these guys were going to move in. Really, really great. So if nothing else, these guys are keeping VortiX on the back foot, man. And it looks like they're specifically targeting the hatchery, but a couple of transfusions there are going to keep that alive, no worries. And meanwhile, a bunch of roaches trying to push in to the main base or to the expansion. They will take either one, and they'd love to snipe some shit here. Meanwhile, these guys doing a very heavy push out, but they are going to get shot back. However, the fungals taking a little bit of a toll here. These roaches doing pretty good, but they are going to get overwhelmed in a matter of minutes if enough hydras start coming out. These hydras surprisingly not going to be helping these guys out. They're obviously more worried about this massive amount of forces coming in. If we have a look at the upgrades right here, no real upgrades for either, although they do both have 2 weapons, I'm sorry, so 2 weapons for each player. Neither of them have got armor, though they do both have armor coming out right now. And Jaedong's starting to get his hydras out as well to sort of match up against VortiX. And these roaches coming in, are they going to snipe the hatchery? It looks very, very likely. And oh, we go, there we go. And Yor is changing the zoom settings on me, so we're going to have to zoom back in there. And yes, I apologize for that, but it's just one of those things where sometimes you don't have control. I'm just happy that he's not changing them as much as the other guy was. So there we go. Going to be zooming back out again. And the roach is coming in, so great job there, sniping the hatchery. Really, really, really awesome job there. And yeah, VortiX, man, moving straight out. He really wants to take this base out. In fact, it's not even a want. I think it's a need. I think he has to take it out. But even if he gets the 4th base out, man, he's still 1 ahead. Sorry, 1 behind. So yeah, man, look at all these spine crawlers coming up, man. Massive amounts of defense. And the reinforcement's going to come back in. These guys are going to get a beautiful flank. They're all trapped and they're all going to die. And VortiX is going to give the GG there. So really great play by Jaedong there. Just all sorts of stuff, man. I cannot believe how many different Zerg units we saw in this game, man. Alright, let's try and keep a count, alright? So we saw Zerglings. Then we saw Banelings. Then we saw Roaches. And then we saw Mutalisks. And then, what did we see after Mutalisks? We saw Infestors, and then there were some more Roaches, and then there were Hydras, and I think that's pretty much where we finished the game, man. But, no, sorry, we saw Swarm Host as well. So there we go, there was Swarm Host stuck in the middle there. I mean, there's just almost, it's not exactly every unit, we didn't really see any air, but I mean, other than Ultras, I think that's every single ground unit in the game. I really do think that is every single ground unit in the game. I may be mistaken, but it sounds about right. Yeah? Alright, you're not allowed to count broodlings either, because broodlings are technically not a ground unit. They're air spawned units, so you can't count them. So yeah, really, really awesome job there by Jaedong, and he is pushing on, man. He is doing all sorts of awesome stuff. Sniping the third in there with a massive amount of forces. That was what won him the game. Just the roach push, doing a great job, and the swarm host helped him out quite a bit. But I think in the end he was attacking this base. He got the roaches in here, the roach push in here, really, really good. And I think that opened up VortiX to allow Jaedong to get that massive amount of roaches in. And he didn't need that long, just 10 seconds, and boom, the expansion was down. And then VortiX was like, well, you know what? GG, man. Good game. And that was it. He won the game. And Jaedong with a very, very decisive victory there. And we will be moving on to game number 2 to see if Jaedong can continue to put the pressure on. And yeah, if he can go further in. And yeah, I tell you what, man, if Jaedong makes it to the semi-finals and Stardust doesn't, then Jaedong is just going to be like, he's going to be even more pissed off. He's just going to absolutely decimate everybody. But yeah, we will find out soon enough. So anyway, moving on to game 2. This has been Hairy Muppet, and I hope you enjoyed this game. I'll catch you guys in game number 2.